This is the Retirement Solution Podcast with financial advisor John Hicks, founder of J. Hagan Capital.
Happy Mother's Day to all of the ladies out there. I'll tell you one thing. There's not a single one of us that would be out here in this world if it wasn't for our mothers. And for my own mother, Debbie, you have been wonderful. You have been an inspiration to not only myself, but my kids.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough. So I hope you have the best day possible. I know that you will not be in Bowling Green with us later in this day for our soccer pilgrimage.
Ask, what have you done for your lovely wife, Tennille, to celebrate her Mother's Day? And you're like, I'm putting her in the car and we're driving off.
Should the kids and I are going to grab her and throw her into the swagger wagon and go to Bowling Green? That's why I didn't give her that such a nice homily there because, to be honest with you, she's going to have a pretty hellacious day. That's just how it goes. Hey, listen, Mother's Days are different for every one of us.
But you know what? You know what she's got?
Tell me.
She's got goals. She's got the future ahead of her. She has got that foresight to know and think and dream about the day that so many moms do, the day when they get to have grandbabies, John. Okay, so Leanne Morgan. Have you heard of Leanne?
No.
She just put out a Netflix special. Watch this show with your moms this Mother's Day because it's safe for kids and it is so hilarious. Just a little snippet about Miss Leanne Morgan becoming a grandmother recently.
When my boy and his wife found out about this precious baby, they would say, their baby. And we would say, our baby. And then they started using words like boundaries. And I thought to myself, they don't know what's about to hit them. They're going to have this precious baby, and they're going to be up all night, and that's going to go into weeks and months, and then my little daughter-in-law is going to start hallucinating, and we'll see who's got boundaries.
That is so true.
So accurate.
That's so true. There is so much truth to that. And I think about my own life and my wife and I, Tennille, and most people, I don't know if most people know. So Tennille works with me. She's actually our chief of operations for the firm. She makes certain that I walk a very tight and narrow rope and that always leads to the promised land, which is letting clients get what they need out of their retirement. But she does a fabulous job. I have no idea why she continues to do this job. She is so underthinked, underloved, underpaid. But frankly, without her, we wouldn't be what we are. So, Mama, thank you so much. But there is so much truth to when we had our first child.
Yeah.
Because we didn't use the word boundaries, but we had certain way that we wanted things done, right?
Sure.
Oh, don't hold the baby that way. Or, hey, we don't give the baby this to eat. Or da-da-da-da-da-da. And it took us 5 years between the first and second one for Maddie to come out. And then for Allie, it took us 5 years. We tried a little earlier. It just didn't pan out. And amazingly, for the number two, though, we had no boundaries. We had no issues. We're like, oh, my gosh, it doesn't make any difference. She's going to be perfectly fine.
Yep.
Because that first one did everything we told her not to do, and she ended up perfectly fine. So we're going to be good. But what a wonderful concept. That was actually, I haven't seen that special.
It's so good.
That's
it's
good.
new. It just came out a couple weeks ago.
She sounds like she's from the South. That's good.
Yep. I
love it. Them babies.
The wisdom that comes through in the truth. Because, she's telling jokes and it's being funny, but, the funniest jokes are usually so funny because they're true. And
they're poignant.
That's right.
They strike
There's
home, right?
A lot of truth and a lot of talk about the lessons learned and what you go through as you grow up and grow older. And that's the whole idea about what so many of us can take away from a financial perspective, I think, as well. And because the truth is, all of us want to retire. Many people have retired before you. Why not learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes? There have certainly been common threads in the conversations that you've had in your office, John, when retirees have told you what they wish they had done better to prepare for retirement. What can we learn here today from some of those moments you've had?
Oh, this is a big one. This is a huge one because I talk to people all the time. You guys call in every week, and I'm glad you do. Give us an opportunity to prove our value. Give us an opportunity to show insight and wisdom because for us, this is not our first rodeo. This is not our first retirement. I'm going on 4 digits of retirements, over 1,000 people that I've listened to, I've talked to, I've understood their numbers. We've guided them some direction. Whether they became clients or not didn't make any difference. To understand what people are going through for their retirement, this is not our first time. We've done this many times. But man, have I seen a bunch of people screw this sucker up.
Yep.
It's like the daughter-in-law that has boundaries. Same thing. Because if you don't have grandbabies yet, one day you're going to have them. And guess what? People spend dumb money on small people.
So true.
I don't know why it's the case. I can't explain it. I looked at my mother's finances 10 years ago when my oldest was little. It was her first grandkid. And she spent the most amount of money I've ever seen in my life on stuff that, frankly, I feel so appreciative she did it. It wasn't even used. So the one thing to understand, one of the biggest things that I see people wish that they had done differently is that they just wish they had a comprehensive plan. A lot of people, they get good investments and they get a good broker. They've had them for years, and that's perfectly fine, but that is not going to accomplish their goals. The first thing that we all have to understand if we're really considering retirement, there are 5 things. You can't have just 4. You certainly can't have just 3. You have to have 5 things in order to make sure retirement is going to work right.
Okay.
Number 1, how much protection do you currently have? If the markets are acting weird, do you know how much protection you have? Are you completely safe? Are you 50% safe? Are you only 10% safe? There's no right or wrong answer, but you have to know that. You'd be amazed at the number of people who don't know that. Their boundary situation has been around how much protection they have. That is number 1 on the list. Number 1, you have to know how much protection is in your portfolio. Number 2, income. Income is the only outcome that we care about in retirement, because you can have $10,000 a month that comes in from a guaranteed pension. But if you have no other assets, I'll bet you money you can probably be just fine, right? Even if you have no assets, if you know what income you have, and that income is like clockwork, it's stable, it's guaranteed, and it's coming to you, you can live a fine life. Doesn't matter if you get 50% returns. What would be nice if you had 50% more income. So income is number 2. Number 3 is tax design. It blows my mind that all these folks I talk to, you guys come in, you have saved so much money, but you've also left so much money on the table by not understanding how you're taxed on those investments. From capital gains rates to phantom income taxes to being charged the wrong amount of tax on the wrong asset. It blows my mind. People could save hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars by simply understanding the tax code. Working with a skilled CPA, working with an office like ours, where we have tax attorneys, CPAs, and financial advisors, and everyone's licensed in my office. We all speak the same language. It's so important. But so much money is wasted there. That's number 3. Number 4 is wealth transfer. How do we make certain that the first person we transfer that wealth to is usually from one spouse or both spouses to just one? How can we be certain we can still live and live the life we want to live and not have to do certain things, not have to sell the house, not have to sacrifice? So the first part of wealth transfer is to a surviving spouse. And then after that, it goes to the kids. And that leads to the last one. One of the things that blew my family up, which is why we absolutely prepare for this for every single person we talk to, is healthcare costs. Because my family blew through $400,000 in healthcare costs because my mom could not stand the idea of my dad being in a facility. So she paid for in-home care, and they had to blow through his IRA to do it. These are things that we could have planned for and planned around, and it wouldn't have been perfect, but it would have been better. If you don't have protection, income, tax design, wealth transfer, and healthcare as a comprehensive plan, guys, that is what I hear the majority of people say. They just wish they had that. If you stopped at that one thing and got that for yourself, you're going to be better than almost 60% of the people that I talk to.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Solution Podcast with John Hicks. Begin the conversation about your savings plan with John and the team at J. Hagan Capital by visiting retirementsolutionradio.com. Be sure to listen to John's radio show, The Retirement Solution, Saturdays at 8 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. on News Radio 840 WHAS.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Hagan Capital Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. It does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Jonathan Hicks, insurance license number 548962.